Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope you're having a wonderful day. My name's Tile Totem, or Adam. That's my actual name. And haven't done one of these in a long time. I think not since January. But I'd like to get back into that because, I don't know, there's been a lot of interesting things going on in Magic the Gathering. And I thought I'd talk about a little bit of them, talk about some of my plans with this channel, talk about some of my plans with just playing Magic in general. Some interesting things. Some local friends of mine, we've been toying around with making a new format for playing Magic the Gathering, so this might be the first video that people will look for if the format becomes famous. If people enjoy playing it, then this might be one of the first videos people find about the format, so I won't give away too much information. I've done a few teasers like here and there. I have a Tumblr account and I talk about Magic the Gathering. It's a nice way to blog things. So, you know, I don't know if I should link that here or not. We'll find out. But Magic Spoilers season has started up last week, I believe. Yeah, there's been a lot going on with it. Because next month around this time, there's going to be the official release. The pre-release, I believe, is the 16th or 17th. Yeah, there's a lot going on with Magic the Gathering right now. New Planeswalker cards are coming out. It's funny, when they first spoiled that the number of cards that would be in Magic Origins, they accidentally listed 5 extra cards, and then that came back and they changed it, well, to 5 less, which was interesting, I thought. When that happened, I speculated that maybe it was because they were going to have transforming cards, which is something that happened with the original Innistrad block. I think it was originally 277, and it got changed down to 272, which was interesting. Yeah. And of course, the majority of the Planeswalkers were actually spoiled recently. I believe it started off with, well, believe it or not, it started with Liliana first, and then it became, well, actually, there was a transforming fake card that somebody made very close. It made sense, obviously, but it wasn't the actual card. And then there was a Chandra Nalaar, or can't remember the name of it. Chandra Fire of Kaladesh. I've got my little cheat screen down here. Kind of keep me from making too many mistakes. Of course, if I make a mistake, feel free to comment down below and let everybody know. I don't mind that. As long information is important, so if people need to know, people need to know. Yeah. Obviously, if the new cards that are spoiled, I'll try my best to get the cards right, but every once in a while you might catch me kind of looking down and checking to make sure I'm saying it right or giving the right number. I'm not going to go through all the currently spoiled cards. There's 93 of them right now, quite a few. But talking about the new Planeswalkers is interesting. Talking about the background stories for 3 Planeswalkers have been revealed. You've got the background story for Chandra, then Liliana, now Jace. I believe today is the 23rd, and today was Jace, every Wednesday until next month. The next one will likely be... The next one will most likely be Nissa, and the last one will probably be Gideon. I'm not sure when exactly that will be. You can count to the Wednesdays. But yeah. And of course, we've learned some interesting things about the different Planeswalkers, how they started out. Just for starters, the first one to reveal, Liliana, transforms very, very easily, I think. And then when it transforms, it comes into play with a zombie token, which is interesting. All of them seem to have an effect where they protect themselves from getting killed, which is smart, which is very smart. Including, let's see, Gideon's ability, you can roll him up to force something to attack him, or if you have blockers, then the blockers will take care of whatever attack. But the other ability is you make one of your other creatures indestructible, which means that creature, and you untap it, that creature will be able to block and protect Gideon then. And both of those are roll-up abilities. So Gideon's going to keep getting larger and larger, and then eventually you just start rolling up +2 and making target creature attack Gideon, and Gideon will most likely survive that encounter, forcing that creature to attack Gideon and keeping you alive, which is what Gideon does. Gideon protects people. And then Jace's ability, the -2/-0, that obviously kind of slows down him getting killed. He starts off with a pretty high number of loyalty, I think 5. So his first +1, that's pretty good. The -3, though, is a Snapcaster Mage ability. It's not as fast as Snapcaster Mage, but the cool thing about that, his ability is you getting to discard that card and draw that card. If you have 5 cards in your graveyard, you transform him. You could put one of the cards that are already in your graveyard and then immediately Snapcast it by -3ing him, dropping him down to 2, and then paying the casting cost of that card and exiling it, which is the flashback ability. That's what Snapcaster Mage granted. The -9 ability is whenever you cast a spell, your opponent, you mill the top 5 cards of target opponent's library. Pretty cool. If you're into mill. Is it target opponent or target player? Time to check the cheat sheet. Cheat sheets. Cheatsies. Let's see. Yeah, it says target opponent, so you can't mill yourself. But it works very well with a delve strategy, so that's something to think about. Let's see. Yeah, that's Jace is pretty strong. Let's see. The second one, like we said with Liliana, her ability was that you can pull a creature immediately out of your graveyard to protect her, which means if it's a creature that died just to transform her, see, whenever another non-token creature you control dies, exile Liliana, Heretical Hero, return her to the battlefield transformed under her owner's control. If you do, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into the battlefield. She comes into play with 3 counters, so it's entirely possible that you will put that 2/2 zombie into play and then -1 her to pull a creature card. Yeah, that died that turn. Like let's see, what's another one? There's the one Ancestor card from Tarkir block. That's 1 black mana for 0/4. That would protect pretty well. A lot of flying creatures that would also work out. Ornithopter, of course, you could -0 her to pull an Ornithopter into play. And of course, the Ornithopter is a really easy creature to get out and then sacrifice for effects, so that works too. Let's see, the third card, of course, is Chandra. Now, Chandra has the built-in ability that she can just deal damage, and a lot of people were complaining that it's hard for her to deal 3 damage, because you'd have to tap her, cast a spell, untap her, tap her, cast another spell, untap her, tap her, and deal third damage. Which actually isn't that hard. I'm going to put it on the record that I do not like how the wording is on the card, but that's just my pet peeve. Anyway, she states, whenever you cast a red spell, untap Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. Tap, deal 1 damage to target player. If Chandra has dealt 3 or more damage this turn, exile her, then return her to the battlefield, transformed under her owner's control. It doesn't say 3 damage to that player. It just says 3 damage for the turn. So if you attack with Chandra and she's blocked by an 0/4 wall, or she deals damage to a Planeswalker, for example, that still counts as her dealing 2 damage. Then you cast a red spell and untap her, and then she taps and deals a 3rd damage. That's the 3rd damage that will be dealt the turn, and then she becomes Chandra Roaring Flames. Now she enters the battlefield with 4 counters, one of the higher amounts that you can get, second only to Jace. Her first ability is that she deals 2 damage to target player, or -2 deals 2 damage to target creature, which she can do twice without any problems. And her -7 is that she deals 6 damage to each opponent. Each player dealt damage this way gets an emblem with, at the beginning of your upkeep, this emblem deals 3 damage to you. I like it. I think it's fun that we have negative emblems in the last couple of core sets, although this is the last core set. Yeah, so it's actually she'll be doing 9 damage, 6 now, and then 3 on their upkeep. It's interesting because 3 damage was essentially a Black Vise if you got it out early, and that was pretty much game winning. I mean, it puts your opponent on the clock that they're just going to deal much damage. The thing I don't like is that it says if Chandra dealt 3 or more damage in this way, you transform her, which people are going to start using the Planeswalker ability where you'll just use the Planeswalker to deal 2 damage, then cast a new Chandra, and then with haste or whatever ability, the legendary creature tapping to deal damage. It doesn't work that way because whenever a card should mention its full name. That's the problem that I have with the wording, that people are going to play the Planeswalker or play the new legendary creature with the Planeswalker in play. Then they'll use the Planeswalker, which has Planeswalker-Chandra to deal damage, then tap the creature to deal another damage, which would be the 3rd damage, allowing it to flip. You sacrifice the Planeswalker that has fewer loyalty counters, and then you use the loyalty counter of the other Chandra. which is very, very not the way it works. But that's where, that's my issue that I have with it. I feel like I'm going to be explaining that a lot at my local card shop, which happens. And it's, that's fine. And then the fifth one is, or actually the next one is Nissa. Her ability is that when she comes to play, you search your library for a forest. Then, if you play a land and it's the 7th land you have in play, you transform her, exile her, and transform her. She enters the battlefield with 3 loyalty counters, which is pretty good. She starts off, though, as a 2/2 creature for 3, 2 and 1 green. Easily slide into... In fact, all of the Planeswalkers will work for Tiny Leaders format. I think that's pretty cool. Means you have a little bit of a bridge, and... yeah. Anyway, her +1 ability is reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. Which is a card draw effect. A 3-mana card draw effect like that is unusual in green. We've had a few of them show up. In fact, there's another one in Magic Origins, but we've had Abzan creature that... I mean, we've had a lot of ways for green to just draw cards recently. It's become... I think... It's not the best at card draw, but it's definitely up there. Her -2 ability, though, is you put a 4/4 elemental creature, a legendary elemental creature token named Ashaya the Awoken World onto battlefield. So, if you needed to, if you didn't have other creatures, you could at least put out a 4/4 creature token, which means you're trading your 2/2 for a 4/4 legendary creature token. And that token can, of course, block and keep Nissa safe, and then you just start rolling her up. Her -7 ability is untap up to 6 target lands. They become 6/6 elemental creatures. They're still lands. Now, that's interesting because the lands don't become green creatures, which means Ugin's ability would not exile them because they're still colorless. They're also becoming 6/6 creatures, and you untap them. If they were already in play, that means you'd be able to swing out with 36 damage, 6 times 6. And that's probably going to be game. In fact, you might see people playing this Nissa as their commander deck, just because that ability is pretty fantastically strong. Imagine, let's see, how would this work? Imagine if you could tap them for mana, float the mana, untap them with Nissa's ability, turning them into 6/6 creatures, and paying the 6 mana to give them an overrun effect, swinging out with 9. That's 54 damage right there, which is probably possible on turn 4 or 5, with enough mana ramp, searching your library to put creatures and cards into play. I don't know if people... I don't think people realize how powerful the card is just yet. It's a very, very powerful card. I hate that I'm doing all this right now. This would be good for a Weenie Envy video. But hopefully it's not coming across as too know-it-all. I'm not trying to... I'm excited about the cards that have been revealed. I really think they're going to be cool. Really look forward to playing them. Really look forward to seeing other people play them. Because it's I don't know. I just like people enjoying Magic. Yeah. And there's been a lot of other cards that have been spoiled in Magic Origins, but I think I've talked your ear off quite enough. I think I'll call the video there. So, I hope you're having a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, and a wonderful evening. And I hope tomorrow's even better. Take care, everybody.